What kind of garbage? Everyone's favorite puffy-faced fascist. That's right, it's Dennis motherfucking Prager. Let me expand this, by the way. Where's that at? Display capture. We've had a little bit of a bigger. We got a little bit bigger screen here, so we can give you a little bit more of the stuff. There we go. I think that's probably good. I'll push that in a little bit. Push that in a little bit. There we go. I think that's really where we're going to be able to get the most bang for the buck on the screen there. Frame that. Frame them. Yeah. Big frame for Dennis Prager. And he's going to talk to us about how to change the world, chat. We're going to fix society. You ready to fix society with me? Hell yeah. It's time.
A major difference between the right and the left,
okay, is the direction.
Concerns the way each seeks to improve society.
Sure.
Conservatives believe that the way to a better society is almost always through the moral improvement of the individual.
Well, and the repression of other people that you don't like or are uncomfortable with and don't look like you. Like what? Specifically, this almost always improved through if you just said improvement of the individual, you would have a leftist take, but instead you decided to do moral. Because then there's a specific arbiter of morality, and then you try to legislate morality. That's a big problem. Legislating morality is not reasonable, right? To say you can't be gay, right? That's immoral based on God's law. But what you can do is just make sure that everyone has equal rights under the law, and then base things on social ethics, not morals. Like, it's almost always using their specific religion. Yeah, except Prager is a Jewish man, so he would say that it's not Christianity, although he really fucking likes Christianity. Don't tell anybody.
By each person doing battle with his or her own weaknesses and flaws.
Unless those weaknesses and flaws are racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, I don't know, sexual repression, lack of interest and consent, any form of toxicity that exists outside of those things, the weakness and the flaw of like having the idea that like capital needs to be linked directly to survival or everyone will be lazy for like no reason. Many weaknesses and flaws that you do not, in fact, address. Really?
It is true that in violent and evil societies, such as fascist, communist, or Islamist tyrannies...
See what he did there? Very, very nice. Smooth, Dennis.
The individual must be preoccupied with battling outside forces.
What?
Almost everywhere else, though, certainly in a free and decent country such as America, the greatest battle of the individual must be with inner forces. That is, with his or her moral failings.
It's not really moral failings. I don't think, again, I really think it's the conservative mindset is incredibly harmful to the people that have it. It's not dissimilar and often intertwined with like Christian belief, obviously, and conservative religious views. It's very much tied to the idea that you're inherently some sort of sin, or sinner, or unclean, or imperfect. And yeah, we're all imperfect, but in a way that vilifies imperfection rather than simply acknowledging it. A flipping gamer. Thanks for following, dude. So a conservative will see something like, I don't know, depression as a moral failure. Like, oh, why don't you just be happy? Do stuff that makes you happy. Whereas a leftist will tend to understand, like, and, obviously there's going to be a little bit different here, but lots of conservatives do this. Oh, well, depression, you're just depressed. You're sad. It doesn't mean that. And then a leftist will be like, well, you can try to be happy, and there's a lot of things you can do to actively pursue that, but, a medical professional is the way to be. Whereas a conservative will be like, don't show your emotions. That's weakness. That's beta shit. Whereas a leftist will be like, your emotions are valid, and you need to be heard and validated and understood. And it's like all of these very simple things that are, they seem very obvious to someone as soon as you point it out. Almost always. Like, if you just, and especially the way you frame it, right? Thanks for following Storm Warden. So if you frame it like, hey, you have anger issues, right? And someone's like, no, I fucking don't. Oh, yep, there it is. You go, okay, so what's a way that we could, as a conservative, address anger issues, right? Well, therapy is gay or something. They don't like that. So it's a weakness to have weaknesses. But it's a bigger weakness to acknowledge that you have weaknesses in conservatism. So like the personal responsibility shit is more of like, not only is it your personal responsibility to deal with this, but the way to deal with this in your personal responsibility is specifically to keep it to yourself and not make it someone else's problem. You hear a lot about that, and I actually think a lot of that language happens when we feel bad about ourselves. We go, it's not your burden, it's not your fault, it's not. Now, don't weaponize your fucking problems at somebody and ask for consent on these types of things. Like, hey, do you mind if we I kind of got some stuff going on and I don't know. I was just looking for somebody to talk to. I was wondering if you had the space for it. And please, if you don't have the space for it, I don't want you to do it. I have other people I can reach out to, but, I came to you because I respect your opinion. So just let me know if that's something I can do, because I think it would be nice. I think it'd be nice. And, like, most people are going to be like, yeah, what you got going on? You know what I mean? Like, I respect that. That's a reasonable opinion to have is, hey, my I'm a little sad. I'm a little down. I'm a little upset. I'm a little frustrated. Whatever's going on. Conservatives don't do that, and then it boils up, and then they turn out to be fucking assholes to people. And then almost everyone who used to be a conservative is like, wow, I was really unhealthy for a lot of reasons. I was very stressed out. Mitchell Drummer, thanks so much for the 10 months. No idea what we are watching, but I'm already angry. Yeah, so.
The left, on the other hand, believes that the way to a better society is almost always through doing battle with society's moral failings.
No, not the society's moral failings. I know why he thinks that, and I guess it. Okay, so what's the difference between so a society's moral failing obviously is racism, right? That's the thing that we talk about a lot. That's a social failing on behalf of the whole nation, right? To some degree, at least. That's also an individual problem. Just because many people have that problem doesn't mean that we can't address it together. You know what I mean? And this is the big rub here, right? Because like being racist and just saying silently to yourself, well, I guess I'm not going to be racist anymore. But if another person is racist, that's their shit. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to address that at all. But if someone's racist in front of me, a leftist, I go, bro, that's fucking racist. Why are you doing that? And they go, what do you mean? No, it's not. All I said was the N-word. We're all white. What's the big deal? You know what I mean? That's never happened to me. But it has happened to me, but not in that way, right? Where someone, usually if you call someone out racist, they go, oh, fuck, that's my bad, dude. You're right. I've never had someone really, in real life, I've had on the internet, go, I'm not racist. Because you're calling them out in person, they get uncomfortable. Because I'm the fucking alpha in the room, okay? And that's true. I'm probably the fucking alpha in the room. I'm in charge, all right? You're being fucking racist, dude. Everybody needs somebody like that. I think we need more jocks in these spaces, in leftist spaces, and I'll say it. I think we need more of them. Convert your jock friends, chat. You need more of them. You need more fucking Chad energy, whether that's from a dude or not. It doesn't need to be a manly alpha. It doesn't need to be hyper mask like your boy, but just someone that has the ability to be like, assertive without being like shitty. Just being like very confidently, because there's such a big difference between being catty with somebody and being like, oh my god, I can't believe you'd fucking say that, dude. Like, because guys can do that. And I'm not saying like it's gendered necessarily. It's not. But like someone's got to stand in there and just be like, and assert like, no, this is fucked up. You don't get to do that. Like, just make them uncomfortable, because fuck that. And that's the difference, right? So we don't put up with that kind of shit on a societal level, but it just means that we don't only internalize our own experiences. We let other people know, hey, other people exist out here. I don't know what that means, FL Son, to the... Well, I said I've never had that happen. I'm sure it happens. I was just saying I've never had that happen. But again, I'm very, very assertive. So, somebody dropped an N-bomb casually in front of me. Yeah, that's happened to me. There were no black people there. I was so shocked I fell out of my chair and everyone stared at me instead of him. Yeah, I've had people say the N-word, but I've said, like, what are you being racist for? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I'm going to cry the left to bend to acquire such energies. I don't know what that means.
Thus, in America, the left concentrates its efforts on combating sexism,
Sure.
racism,
Yeah.
intolerance,
Yeah.
xenophobia, homophobia, Islamophobia,
Yes.
and the many other evils that the left believes permeate American society.
Well, yeah. I mean, within that is also like take care of yourself, and like what are moral failings that Christians think people have? Like drug use or something? I don't really know. Namertech says, I've used the N-word, but in an academic setting, never uses a slur. Yeah, I grew up with people using it as clearly it was like ooh, I'm getting away with this N-word. It was like clearly they were trying to be edgy. But I used to, when I was a teenager and stuff, and not ever being around black people, in a social, I was with them in like competitive spaces. Like I play a lot of basketball, and other sports and stuff, but basketball was my primary sport. And out here, where I live now, which is not far from where I grew up, we have a large black population, so a lot of the kids, we would play basketball together. And they would say it a lot, and then I started listening to rap because some of my friends were black, or at least, I guess, more acquaintances. Again, I didn't really have any really close black friends growing up because I grew up so white, but in my town had like 3 black kids in it, who I'm sure experienced racism to some degree, but it wasn't like I remember the one kid specifically, his name is Lorenzo, and he was really well liked in school. I guarantee there were racist kids, but it wasn't like a really... I know of one specific one that stands out in my memory, and that ever stood out in my memory. And he would say racist jokes and stuff, and he was pretty fucking racist. But, besides microaggressive stuff that probably happened that I just didn't recognize at the time because I was a child and a lib, I don't think he experienced... in our school, at least, he definitely experienced it from other schools. I remember that quite fondly, where someone called him the N-word really loud, and we did not put up with that. Let's say, but I do remember definitely me and my friends we would rap to the words and stuff for sure. I guarantee that happened. When like Lil Wayne was super popular, 50 Cent was super popular and stuff like that, when I was a kid, and I don't do it now, but I guarantee you I did. I don't have a strong recollection of it, but yeah, it definitely happened. But yeah, I think that's just something you grow and learn about, right? You just go like, well, that's not really fucking cool. It's not really my culture. It feels weird. Like the fact that you don't say it when your black friends are around, and now I'm an adult and I've gotten out of that white space. It's a little more diverse. Although I'd like some more close proximity non-white folks to hang out with. But all my neighbors suck. Yeah, I think you just grow with it, and hopefully that's the point, right? Like, and that's the again, this whole video is like that. It's like you just learn that, hey, something was a little shitty, or it could be very shitty, but usually it's a little shitty. And just trying to be less shitty as you grow older, that's all we fucking want. If someone says, hey, you're being shitty, go, really? Why? What's going on there? And then hopefully they have the space in their life to explain why you were shitty, and then you stop, and then you just don't. Just you go, oh, that was shitty. Wow. Okay. My grandpa called Meghan Markle a zebra and a zebra. Oh, it took a second. I'm not racist enough. I'm not racist because she's a mixed person. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That took me. I never heard that. That makes sense. I've heard Oreo before, which is shitty. Although usually when people say Oreo, they're talking about like in a cute way, which I still think is a little microaggressive. But yeah, I have heard that one. I've never heard zebra. That's weird. Huh. My audio is playing over top of an ad for you? Huh, that's weird. Is it on another tab or? A coconut? I've never heard that either. Wait, there's lots of different euphemisms for someone that's mixed. Like, that's what, 2 black kids in our system raised by what? Wow. Really? Was not cute at all? Yeah. Well, usually, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, white people will be like, oh, look at that little Oreo. And it's like a little mixed baby or something. It's like, that's a fucking yikes, dude. What are you doing? Like, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But, like, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, don't like it. Huh. For some reason, zebra sounds bad and aggressive. Yeah, I know, right? I think it's because it's, like, an animal that lives in Africa as well. And so it's very close to, like, more aggressive animal comparisons, we'll say, not to get into it, which I'm sure a lot of you already are like, oh yeah, I get it. But yeah, I think animal comparisons are in general are dehumanizing to anybody, even if zebras in reality are dope. I don't think it's a compliment. I think it's just strange. My mixed race nephew once described himself as chocolate milk. I guess it can be cute if you are explaining your own experience. When I dated, I was gonna say her name. When I dated somebody, she had kids, and one of them had a little bit darker skin than the other two because they were, but both parents had a little bit of darker skin heritage in their line, although both were pretty white passing. But he ended up getting the gene that makes the skin just a little bit lighter, or not lighter, darker. And he was like, why do I look different? And that was actually so interesting to have that conversation. I didn't answer the it was his mom that talked about it. It was a cool conversation to watch.
Call, baby boo.
It was just like, he noticed. And he was like 4, 5. And it was just like very interesting. Unkept Flamingo, thanks so much for giving one of Super Nerd Bros. I'm white, but my step family is Asian. When I acted Asian, they'd call me an egg? What? Wait, what is that? What is acting Asian? I didn't know that was a thing that people said. I don't even know what that means. Huh. Wow. Well, yeah, I'm sure there's so many things that our non-white chat members could be like, yeah, here's a shitty thing that was said to me once, twice, 35 times. Like, sorry about that. It happens. But I think it's interesting. I actually think it's very interesting to tell people about your experiences because it makes people more conscious of those things. And maybe call it out or not do it themselves, even on accident. My sister is white-skinned and I'm black. It was a very fun conversation to have at 6 years old. Do Do you share parents? Is that a genetic, an interesting genetic thing, or do you have different like half sister, half parents, or whatever, or adoptions, or because that's interesting. Because all the kids from my ex were all biologically the same parents. So, and he was like 4 or 5 shades darker. It was like pretty stark. And he, especially in the summertime, he tanned right up. Skinny little tan kid. He was really cute, good looking kid. And I remember he just was like, "Why am I so much darker?" And I was just like, "Ooh, hey mom, maybe." Different dads. Oh, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. You guys have some cool families. I was just white. Not a lot of culture. Luckily, I've had very good experiences with some partners and some friends and stuff, so it's been pretty cool. Yeah, anyway, we'll get back into this stupid fucking video, I guess. But, I mean, we're having a really positive conversation. We're just going to ruin it because he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
One important consequence of this left-right distinction is that those on the left are far more preoccupied with politics than those on the right. Since the left is so much more interested in fixing society than in fixing the individual.
But the fix of the society and individual are the same thing.
Politics inevitably becomes the vehicle for societal improvement.
I guess.
That's why
you do a politics show. What? Like the biggest politics people are Fox News, Ben Shapiro, yourself, Crowder, stuff like that. What are you talking about? You're incredibly political at all times. What do they think is not political about them?
Whenever the term activist is used, we almost always assume that the term refers to someone on the left.
Because you aren't activists for things. You're conservatives. You aren't trying... What do you mean? What? Of course they're left-leaning. An activist is someone fighting for a right. You don't want to expand rights. You're a conservative. I don't really... Of course. Of course activist is not usually used for you. Although I have seen guns rights activists very largely. I have also seen anti-abortion activists all over the place. Like...
Another consequence of this left-right difference is that since conservatives believe society has changed one person at a time...
Everyone thinks that as well. No, what? Wait. I don't understand. Does Dennis think that leftists are only like, well, 2 or more only? If we don't get a multi-kill on this one, not worth it. Like, I don't really understand that. We literally operate on the individual level constantly. If there's any right-winger in chat right now that doesn't understand a left-wing thing and you have a genuine question about a left-wing thing, I'll fucking answer the question. I'll do it. And unless you're shitty, I won't make you feel bad. Right? Like, if you're just asking questions, I have no fucking problem with that. If you're out here asserting nonsense, well, then we have a problem, and now I'll get more aggressive. But if you could just have a conversation with me, because I'd love to have back and forth with a conservative that wasn't so fucking insecure he had to start yelling. But let's be real, he do.
They accept that change happens gradually.
Yeah.
This isn't fast enough for the left.
It's not fast enough for anybody. Wait, what are you talking about? Fast enough. What's the speed at which gay people deserve rights? It's the speed at which trans people deserve rights. I don't like. Oh, eventually we'll get to it eventually, but not right now. Like, what do you mean not right now? Why not? What's the point? Well, because I don't want. I don't. This makes me icky. Makes me icky. Well, I don't care about your feelings. I thought that's what Ben said. He didn't care about feelings. It's about facts. The fact is, trans people exist. They deserve rights. That's the end.
Which is always and everywhere focused on social revolution.
Not really. Not really a revolution. It's more a reformation.
An example of this was a statement by the then presidential candidate Barack Obama just days before.
He's not a leftist, though. He's a dirty, dirty lib.
For his first election in 2008. To a rapturous audience, he declared, "We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America."
Okay.
Conservatives not only have no interest in fundamentally transforming the United States of America,
But anything.
they are strongly opposed to doing so.
We get it. We know this. This is like the biggest problem we have with you, dude.
Conservatives understand that fundamentally transforming any society that isn't fundamentally bad, not to mention transforming what is one of the most decent societies in history, can only make the society worse.
What are you talking about? But what's this? What's fundamentally bad mean? Like do the foundations of the society begin with badness? I'd say American foundations are bad. And I think there's a lot of things that we could change to make it good. So bad for who? Does it matter? So what if it's bad for just one or a few groups of people? It's not bad for me. Is it bad for a black person? Is it bad for a trans person? Do we all get to have the same fundamental good or badness? Because that's all we're going for. We're not trying to change anything. The rules are the same. We just want the rules to be the same for everybody, irrespective. And then after we get that, all we want is like better stuff for everybody because we're Americans and we're fucking exceptional, right? American exceptionalism. Woo, number one country. So why wouldn't the number one country have all the best shit? Everybody gets healthcare. Boom. Flex. Everybody gets fucking housing, food, internet, education. Flex. I'm just saying. You wanna pretend you have big dick energy, America, or do you want big dick energy? Do you want to pretend to have a big hog, or do you want an actual big hog? Thick cob or thin cob, your choice. Your choice.
Conservatives believe that America can be improved, but should not be transformed, let alone fundamentally transformed.
What's transformed? What is transformed by anything the left says? What's an improvement that they will allow? Tell me about an improvement.
The founders of the
Is there anybody in chat right now that has the balls to agree with this? Anybody? Because I would love to understand what you agree with this about. Like, what is it? What improvement are you waiting for? What improvement will you allow?
The United States recognized that the transformation that every generation must work on is the moral transformation of each citizen. Thus, character development was at the core of both child rearing.
Character development doesn't mean things. What's the character that you're trying to develop? What is it? What are the values that you have here? Make a prescription.
And of young people's education from elementary school through college. As John Adams, the second president, said, our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is.
John Adams said that. Holy shit. John Adams, the founder of America. The founder of America. The king of America. John motherfucking Adams. That's right. And nobody disagreed with John Adams. No siree. Nope. None of the other founding fathers had one disagreement with John Adams. Nope. They didn't form a Congress to try to figure out the Constitution. I don't have a Constitution right here. I haven't read it. Nope. Don't know anything. Don't know a thing about it. Okay. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. The first 10 words in the Constitution. Weird. Pretty weird.
Wholly inadequate to the government of any other. And in the words of Benjamin Franklin, Only a virtuous people are capable of freedom.
A virtuous people. Sure. Only a virtuous people are capable of freedom. Maybe. Maybe. Ben Franklin did things that I think Dennis Prager would think is not very virtuous. Like whoring around in France. It's a big thing that he did, that's for sure. Now, I think it's based, but, Dennis Prager certainly doesn't agree with that. Ben Franklin also, very famously, once wrote a treatise, and this is true, it was 100% true. He once wrote a treatise that was basically on the subject of having an affair secretly. And he wrote an editorial in a newspaper, and it said basically, hey, here's the playbook on how to cheat. If you want to cheat on your spouse, or you want to have an affair with somebody, make sure they're older. I'm not kidding. Make sure they're older, because older ladies don't like to talk, and older ladies are also better at fucking. I mean, that's literally what he said, dude. I'm not gonna, hey, they're older women. Older women are better at fucking. That's just true. That is true. No Risk of Kids was definitely another one. Ben Franklin wanted to fuck a MILF real bad. And he did.
Why is that? Because freedom requires self-control. The freer the society, the more self-control is necessary.
Pablo's dog. Thanks for following, dude.
If the majority of people don't control themselves, the state, meaning an ever more powerful government, will have to control them. From the founding of the United States until the 1960s, schools...
What? The state will have to control... What? It took me a second. I had to wait to pause just to try to figure it out. That's not... Does he know what leftists fucking ask for? Does he even understand the argument? No leftist is asking for the government to have more control over our lives. They're asking for it to have less control by legislating out loud that people have rights that won't be infringed by the government. What? Marry who you want, love who you want, be who you want, fuck who you want with consent. And follow the passions you want, follow the education you want, live where you want, get the health care you want whenever you want it, survive wherever you'd like, get any job you'd like. Have a say in your workplace? What? I don't want to be controlled. Also, I want no vote when I'm at work. None. I want to be controlled. I want a boss to tell me what to do. Yes, step on me, daddy. You're the fucking floor supervisor of this McDonald's. You deserve to be able to control me. Like, what? What are you talking about, dude? Fucking, you want freedom, but do you? You want to legislate who people fuck and how they fuck. Like, what? Get out of the bedroom, dude. How can you tell me how to fucking nut, dude? What are you talking about? Fucking losers. Absolutely fucking losers.
And parents concentrated on character education. But with the ascent of left-wing ideas, character education has all but disappeared from American schools.
What are you talking about? They're trying to teach people how to be good people all the time in leftist spaces.
Instead, children are taught not to focus on their flaws, but on America's.
But America's flaws are their flaws if they adopt them. So they're just teaching them not to have those flaws. Like racism. What?
Social issues have replaced character education. An example is a new K-12 science curriculum, the next generation of science standards, which will teach young Americans starting in kindergarten about global warming.
Okay, yes, what?
And when they get to college, American young people will be
Okay, wait. By the way, there's a climate crisis that maybe we should understand from an early age that we can hopefully deal with it in the future and make sure that our planet remains habitable and happy for everybody. That's bad, I guess.
be taught about the need to fight economic inequality,
Yes.
white privilege,
So economic inequality is bad for capitalism.
and the alleged rape culture
Oh my fucking god, dude! So white privilege is just to make sure that we don't overlook people or assume for some reason that someone is less valuable due to their skin color. And then rape culture obviously is that we don't teach consent in sex ed, and that's really all that we need to be. I mean, you would solve most problems with sexuality. Most, not all, obviously, but just most societal sexuality problems with the idea of consent. Do you consent to a thing or do you not consent to a thing? It's important how you feel about that. That's it.
on their campuses. Ironically, if there really is a rape culture that permeates American college campuses, the only reason would have to be that there was so little character education in our schools, or for that matter, at home.
Kira, thanks for the 100 biddies. The Catholic Church I work for, i.e. babysit toddlers and use the money to fund my fiance's HRT, is opening a school, and one of their curriculum books in 13 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. Probably 12 Rules for Life. Probably not 13. If it's 13, it's fake, and that's hilarious. What the fuck does it even mean? Oh,
Fathers and religion, historically the two primary conveyors of self-control, are non-existent in the lives of millions of American children.
So this is all, we should make people religious. Huh.
We are now producing vast numbers of Americans
Yep.
who are passionate about fixing America while doing next to nothing about fixing their own character.
Okay.
The problem, however, is that you can't
He hasn't defined what character means, guys.
make society better unless you first make its people better.
But what's better? What are people? What do you mean?
I'm Dennis Prager.
Yeah. Yes, you are. Yes, you fucking are. How are they so consistently fucking dumb? It's just so stupid. Better is whatever he likes, I guess.